Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today we've got a special video for you, and this one is all about starting up a Warhammer Age of Sigmar games club, or in fact it could be any miniature war games club in your local area. We're going to go through some key points and some key ideas that may help you get this idea off the ground in your local area. I understand at the current point in time many people around the world cannot do such a thing like this, and I advise you to please stick to whatever government restricted mandates are appropriate in your area around the world and stay safe and just stay well as best you can. But hopefully this video may find some people who can get some use out of it, so let's begin talking about a whole bunch of different things you can do to get a Warhammer Age of Sigmar gaming club, group or community started near you. So before you get started with doing anything for your games club, you need to decide what sort of games club you're going to have. Are you going to have a games club that is just for friendly casual games and people to meet in a single location and roll some dice? Are you aiming to have a competitive games club where the aim is to keep up to date with the meta and keep playing competitive Age of Sigmar? Or are you aiming for a place where people can just come play games and do whatever version of this they want? For me, the best way to do this is always the second. Allow people to do what they want in your local games club. Any player playing the same game you are is another person there that can attract even more members doing what you all are doing. You need to start at some place as well, and so the best place to start your games club is finding friends to help you start it up. You can advertise your group as well, getting onto social media and all that sort of stuff, advertising you will be at a certain location, and we'll get onto location in just a second. But all of this leads to how you're going to start. You need people and you need your friends. Get your friends to bring their friends, and their friends can bring their friends, and soon you'll have a decent enough group. No number is too small to start a games club. You can start with 3, you can start with 20, you can start with whatever number of people you want, probably preferably more than 1. But as long as there are games happening, you will get other people interested in the local area, and hopefully over time you get more and more people joining in all the fun. Now, as we talked about spaces to play before, there's nothing more important than finding, well, a place to play. You could find a local hall. Local RSL halls here in Australia are great for handing out space to play war games in. There could also be libraries that allow such a thing, though libraries in a lot of places don't like the noise that war games generally bring, but you might be able to work something out. There are also, general board game clubs and stuff around the place as well that may allow you to come be a part of their community, simply because you'll bring more people in and that's more revenue for their community. Another great thing you can do is go to a FLGS or a friendly local game store and start to create a bond with the store owner or just the store in general, and play games inside their store and really use that as a base of where you start to play and where your club starts to meet. For me, I've done this recently with our local game store, Dragon's Lair Salisbury. They've been absolutely fantastic. We make sure that all our members generally do try to buy stuff from the store, though nothing is ever perfect, and we will never always buy stuff from the store. They can only get so much stock in, and sometimes you want stuff from somewhere else, or you pick it up from somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think supporting the store and allowing them in return allows us to use their space. It's a great sort of combo that we both can help scratch each other's back, and it gives us a place. We've even managed to get in regular days. We come in on a regular day, we play at a regular basis. We have a decent amount of us come in, and we even have a second regular day on a monthly basis as well at our local store. And this is something you can look to do. You can even look in the future to start running events at the local store that is supporting you and giving you a place to play. But all in all, this is probably the most important thing, obviously, is a place to play. I guess the last thing you could do is, if one particular member of your group does have a large area that they don't mind a lot of people rocking up to. Now, remembering, please be considerate of your wives, partners, or significant others, or housemates, whatever, when you do this, but it is definitely something to consider if, say you're someone who's got a decent space, like a big shed out the back where you can be away from all the other stuff that's happening inside your house, or you live alone, you've got a big area for people to come play, and you're happy with people to come around to your actual property. This could be another option for you. So moving on to the actual game now. Something I strongly suggest whenever you're starting up a games club, especially when you're starting to get newer and newer members in, is to play basic. Now, what I mean by this is stripping down the game to the bare minimum. You're trying to get people interested in the game, and you don't want to overwhelm them with needless, overcomplicated rules that they just don't need to know to start with. When we started our new games club, we had a ton of new members and a ton of new people, both new to Age of Sigmar and to wargaming in general. We had people come from card games and board games and a whole other host of different places. One thing we did, and now this is going to sound a little controversial, I mentioned this in other videos before, is we actually played without battle tomes and without a lot of just the major sort of rules additions that you can find in other places. We didn't use endless spells, we didn't use artifacts, command traits, or anything to begin with. We just played with the bare war scrolls and the core basic rules of the game. As time passed, we added more and more to our games, but for this very early period, just playing with a war scroll straight out of boxes made for everyone just learning the game that ease of access for them. They had very little to memorize, and they could add more layers on top of stuff as they got better and better and more confident with the game. Speaking of games as well, we started up the group that we have near me, and I think it's a great way to start up groups is by doing a slow grow campaign. Now, you can do this in a multitude of different ways. You can do this as we did in a slow grow campaign, which is sort of similar to the Tale of Four Warlords stuff you might see in the Games Workshop's White Dwarf magazines, where they collect a box each month, paint it up, and build and play games with those boxes over the course of, say, 6 or however many months you feel like running it. 6 is a good number. Yeah, you should have a decent 1,000 point, 1,500 point army by the time you finish that. We started with a start collecting box, and every month there's a theme that everyone adds, whether it be monster, character, wizard, underworld's warband, whatever, and everyone has added to it, and slowly we've got more and more forces. Now, what this has done over time is people have just gone out and bought whole forces sometimes, and people have now just filled out their armies, skipping way ahead of where we are at slow grow, but everyone is still paying attention to this and the background as well. You could also do this in other ways of playing things like Path to Glory, or I guess Warhammer 40,000's version is Crusade, and just other ease of access ways into the game that don't require the more complex things of list building that can come at a later date. One thing I really do recommend though when you are starting a games club, now there are many multitude of different ways to play with Warhammer miniatures or Citadel miniatures. You know, Warhammer Age of Sigmar can fit into things like Warcry, Underworlds, and even Warhammer Age of Sigmar Skirmish, and a whole bunch of other different games. The one thing I recommend for starting is making sure everyone's just playing one game system. This does mean even cutting out the ease of access systems like Warcry and stuff, because they are just entirely different rule sets. And this can serve to confuse a lot of new people in the hobby. If you're having to play multiple different rule sets and learn multiple different rule sets all at once, then you don't really get the benefit of learning any of them, because you're just struggling to learn all of them at once. So it is really important that you just stick to one single game system to begin with, and generally you would want that to be Warhammer Age of Sigmar. Now, if you're worried about how big games get and how many models are on the table, maybe just play something small with one character, one battle line on the table, a start collecting box on the table, or even just, 300, 400, 500 point games to begin with, and move up from there. It is always important just to start basic. Now that you've got yourself set up in an area to play and you've got some people playing games, the next thing to do is start organizing events. Now, events don't need to be match play events, they don't need to be narrative events, they can be a wide-ranging variety of different things. What events do though is they give your community a time to get everyone together. Games nights will always be the issue of some people can make them, some people can't on a regular basis. You might have that player who can make one every 2 weeks or can only make one a month, because that's all he can really make time for, and that's not bad. That means you've got that player there once a month, and say the 3rd week of every month they come down on the games night, and that player who comes every fortnight, and you have those few who go week in, week out as well. But what a games day or a small tournament or a little narrative event or just a hobby day altogether, something organized on maybe a weekend or something like that, what these do is this allows everyone in your community to get together on a particular day. They can all book time off work, book time away from their partners and their families, and make an effort to all get together. These events are the lifeblood of your communities. What these will do is these will show a strong community together, playing, having fun. These events, more than any other event, more than games nights and anything you'll do, will get more people into your group. We've had so many people come in my local group because of these larger days. We had people come in last time because of the first tournament we ran, and we've run multiple games days on weekends as well. And these are the ones we've found that most get new people into our group. They see a whole bunch of people with 5 or 6 tables going of games, people sitting down painting in large groups. They see this and they go, I want to be a part of that. And that's what you want people to feel when they come in and see you all playing games. This is the most important thing. Organize events, and with this you're going to need some structure in your group as well. You're going to need someone who is in charge of organizing the events, or not necessarily organizing the events, but being the one who comes up with the ideas, is the face of organizing the events. You can have other people be the ones that run them, but this person is the one that's going, right, this one is this weekend, this one is that weekend, and really putting everything together. That does bring me to my next point, which is very important, which is as your group begins to grow, you're going to need to put people into positions to organize stuff within your group. As I mentioned, you're going to want one person organizing which weekend is fitting which event, or what day is a games day, and what is happening on every day, organizing games for people and stuff. This one person job is just to make everything run smoothly and make sure there are no clashes of interest between the group. Okay, cool, the competitive guys want to have an event, we'll organize that on this weekend, and the narrative guys want to have one on this weekend, we'll organize that on the other weekend. But we're all going to play in all of them, and we're just going to do these different things on different weekends, making sure that it all happens but that nothing clashes. There's nothing worse than having your group split apart doing multiple things on one day, when really the idea of these big games day and events is to get everyone together doing the same thing. The last bit of advice I've got for anyone organising or wanting to make a gaming group in their local area is be available and be on the lookout for people looking to be a part of a community like yours. I've personally found multiple members of the group on the general social media pages that we frequent, and not just, I guess, the Warhammer Age of Sigmar page linked to my particular area in the world, but also like buy swap sell pages as well, linked to my area for war games as well. I've also found players on that looking for games there because that's the area they thought they might be able to find, or even in local stores. If you see someone come in and they buy some Age of Sigmar models, maybe try and make a conversation with them, talk about where they're buying them for. Strike up that conversation. And if you've also made a good impression with, say, a friendly local game store, that person in the game store, make sure to tell them where they can find like-minded individuals and when the games day is. And generally most store owners will want them coming back anyway, so they'll do so anyway. Make yourself known, make yourself out there, put yourself out there rather, and really just try to be a friendly person to everyone you can, because at the end of the day, if you're a friendly person, welcoming and happy and enjoying your games, you're going to have people come up in droves trying to join your little happy community that's enjoying themselves. But that's all. There's just some advice for everyone for trying to start your own wargaming club. Well, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And while you're at it, why don't you go check out the featured channels on my channel and go give all them a like and subscribe as well. A bunch of fantastic Age of Sigmar content there. Lastly, I'd like to give a shout out to everyone who supports the channel in various different ways, whether that be donating via Ko-fi, Patreon, or YouTube members. Thank you all to James, AJC, JC, Christian Weir, Philip Ward, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Alderan, Shot First, Cal Spawn, and James Crowder. Thank you all so much, everyone, for your support. If you'd like to come chat with me, more, and other members of our fine community, you can do so by following the link down in the description to our Discord server. And also, if you'd like to help support the channel monetarily like these fine people do, you can do so by following the links to our Ko-fi, Patreon, or simply joining our YouTube members here on YouTube. Thank you all so much, everyone, for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.